Hey there folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another gun-related video. This time I'll be taking a look at the Grayguns Competition Trigger for the P320 platform. Now you'll see on the table that I've got two P320 X5s, and I've been using the P320 X5 in competition for about a year now. I got one of the first ones that SIG released to the market. They sent it to me to review. That's this one. You can tell that it's one of the original older models because it does have the barrel that's silver in color. The one above it is the one I've been using most recently, and it has the black barrel that a lot of the newer X5s that have come out have. So why do I have two X5s? Well, I did want to get the competition trigger for the X5. I'd been using the pelt trigger for the X5 with much success. The competition trigger is only compatible with a P320 that has been through the SIG Sauer voluntary upgrade process. I'm not going to go into why SIG went through that process. There's a lot of internet drama related to that. But the important thing to know is if you want the competition trigger, you do need a P320 that's been through that upgrade and update process. And I hadn't sent my original X5 here in for that process. And I didn't really want to be without it because it was my primary competition pistol. So it was easier for me to purchase a second X5, which I did in January, in anticipation of the new competition trigger coming out. Now I've had that trigger for about a month now, and you know, spoiler warning, I'm in love with the new competition trigger. It is vastly superior to the stock X5 trigger, and it is quite a bit better than the pelt trigger as well. So just to illustrate the differences between the two, this is the original pelt trigger on my original X5, and you can see the amount of play that you have pre-travel, the pull and how far back it goes, and you can also see that it has the dry fire double click, indicative of a gun that has not been through the X5 upgrade process. In December, I did get the Lyman trigger gauge out. It was after my shooting season, and I did test the pull weight on the pelt trigger that I have in that gun, and it came in at almost 3.8, 5 pull average of about 3.77, almost 3.8 pounds, which is not at all bad. For a long time, I competed with an Apex trigger that was right around 4 pounds. So this one coming in at 3.8 pounds, the pull weight didn't bother me. I was fine with that, and it worked well. What did bother me was the loss of the reset. There's very little reset, audible or tactile, on the pelt trigger. And the amount of pre and post travel that it had did bug me. This new P320 X5, I'll go ahead and roll in a photo that I took with my Lyman trigger gauge, showing the pull weight of the new competition trigger, and that's after about almost 2,000 rounds. I've had, like I said, I've had the trigger for about a month. I've been shooting up until the U.S. Steel Nationals, which was a couple weeks ago. I was shooting it about 500 rounds a week, shot 300-ish rounds at the U.S. Steel Nationals. I've come home, I've I've shot in local league competition, and you're gonna see a lot of footage of me shooting in competition here. But I've shot it at USPSA locally. I've shot it, in Steel Challenge locally, steel matches. Uh, I've put quite a few rounds through this already, and I feel like the trigger is reasonably broken in, um, and I'm getting probably a pretty good reading. And the pull weight on the new trigger, the new competition trigger, is coming in just under 3.5 pounds. It was about 3.8 pounds, and again, I'll put a picture of the Lyman trigger gauge that I did with a 5-pull average. But the pull weight really isn't the full story here. Yes, it's a tad bit lighter than the pelt trigger that came before it from Grayguns, but the real beauty, I think, to this trigger is the amount of pre and post travel, as well as so very little take up, just what you'd want to stage the trigger. Very clean break, and that just doesn't go anywhere. When you release the trigger, you get a really nice reset. Very nice tactile and audible reset. Just love this trigger. It's a really great improvement over the pelt. Really a solid trigger, and I think from what I've seen, this is pretty darn, close to what Bruce Gray was doing when you used to spend, I think, $350 by sending a P320 and having him do his in-shop trigger work on your P320. So again, the competition trigger is a user installable item. It can be done. Alma Cole has put out a really nice video on how to install the trigger, and I'd highly recommend it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It did take me a little bit of time, but just take your time and watch the video, and you'll be able to do it. 2 thumbs up. Highly recommend it. Big improvement. I'm already seeing some improvement in my shooting performance. I will say that, and this is kind of my comment on triggers in general, that triggers aren't as big of a deal, I think, as a lot of people make them out to be in terms of how they will improve your actual performance. The felt, I guess, or the perceived improvement when you pull the trigger is going to be a lot more than what you see downrange. I can't say that I've taken, a lot of time off, like shooting a six plate plate rack. I can't say that, I'm noticing huge improvements. I think my groups have tightened a little bit, and I think I'm shooting just a little bit faster. So this is not going to be a night and day difference between whatever trigger you're shooting now, whether it be the stock trigger or the pelt trigger. You're not going to see a night and day difference. It's not going to take you from a USPSA D class to a master. Gear changes just don't do that for you. It takes hard work and practice, but it is a big improvement. It will feel a ton better, and you will see some improvement. If you work it. Again, the trigger weight at around 3.5 pounds. That's fine for me. The cool kids running around a lot of USPSA matches with Shadow 2s that are pulling 2.5. Some people that is going to be better. For some, maybe not. But the point is, I think the trigger pull weight, right around 3.5 pounds is very, very good for competition. So 2 thumbs up, highly recommend the Grayguns Competition Trigger. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care, God bless. We'll see you in the next one.